So earlier I wrote down all the measurements on the pivots that have bad bushings associated with them. And I ordered some new bushings to replace the bad bushings. And so I'm going to start with the strike train. And this is wheel S3. And it needs a number 7 bushing, which is 0.8 inside diameter, and then 1.5 millimeter thickness, and then a 2.5 millimeter outer diameter. So get in the bushing box here, look up number 7, which is right here. Pull out a replacement bushing, very tiny. So since the outside diameter is 2.5 millimeters, we're going to need a cutting broach that should be 2.47 millimeters. And we'll use that to cut out the bushing hole right here. So put this in a pin vise. Shut this, and then we'll lay that right there. So looking at it, it's worn that direction. So I need to hold this and put some pressure that way. And just start reaming out the hole. It's going to take a minute because I'm doing it by hand. There's metal shavings going everywhere, which is fine because all these parts aren't really properly cleaned yet anyway. So okay. So now there's rough edges, and I need to take a bevel and gently use the edges here to smooth out the rough parts. Just lightly, just spin it a couple times on both sides. That feels smooth there. That feels smooth there. So then the outer portion of this plate has the oil wells on the bushings. So this has a built-in oil well, this new bushing. So when I press it in, I need it to go with the well that way. So I'm going to turn it over this way. I'm actually going to put this under it, and then we'll put the bushing in. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way. I've got a reason for that. I'm going to put the well up because this is the well side of the plate. So put that right in there. You got to get it positioned. It's an interference fit. So there. And then I'm going to use this pin vise for this, and this is an anvil. So got the anvil in there, and I'm going to use that to push down on it. And I'm going to need a lightweight hammer. And I'm going to gently tap that down in there. So the reason I did it face up is because the bushing is just a hair thicker than the plate. So I want, if the bushing is going to stick out anywhere, I want it to stick out on the outside of the plate and not the inside, because the arbor has a certain distance between each plate. And if the bushing sticks out that way, it's going to make a tight fit. So now that's smooth. And it's up just a little bit right there, which is not going to hurt anything there. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but right there's the new bushing in there. So now it does not fit the arbor in question yet. So, at least I don't think it does. So we're going to turn this over. We're looking right there, and it will not go in. So the new bushing is a little bit too small, which is a good thing. So now I got to find a different type of cutting broach that actually fits inside this hole, which is too big. That's a little big. And then that goes through, that'll do it. So I'm going to put it in the pin vise. And this is where it gets tricky. So I'm going to leave this. This is the pivot that needs to go in that hole. So I'm going to remount the inner hole, and if I go too much, make it too big, well then I'm going to be back to where I was with the bushing hole being too big and wallowed out, and it'll have too much slop. So I got to do this just right, or I got to replace the bushing again with another one. So I go in one side, twist side to side while going in a little bit and keeping it straight. And I'll do it from the other side. Then test the fit. Not quite, not there yet. Gotta ream some more. And do the other side a little bit. And then check it again. Okay, went in. It's a little tight and I need it to go that way a little bit more. So I'm gonna go a little bit more this way. See how it does. And then I'm going to put the back plate on it. And pop the bushing, pop the pivot into the bushing hole, which you got to do from the side. Right. And then tighten the plate down. I'm not going to do all four, I'm just going to do a couple. Let's do this one here. Just going to hand tighten that. I might put all four on just to have it good, or just three maybe will work. Spin test, it's not binding. It's spinning good. And then we're going to look at it under a light, bright light, and look for slop. Minimal slop, which means the gear teeth are going to mesh more precisely with the gear beside it, the wheel beside it. So we're not done with this bushing yet. So we got it rough cut. Or I've got it rough cut. Me, myself, and I guess is we. And I'm not wearing gloves to touch this plate because I'm going to clean this plate up again. Alright, so lay this right here. So now, got to remove this cutting broach here. And I like to put my tools away as they're not needed, so I don't make a mess and use the wrong tool. Now we're going to go with some polishing broaches here, and what these do is they compress the metal inside the new bushing where it's been cut. They compress the metal and harden it and make it smooth. These are smoothing broaches, not polishing broaches. And so it's a crafty way to harden the newly cut soft brass a little bit so it doesn't wear as easy. And then you got a smoothing broach that needs to go through this hole. There it goes. And then I put it into the pin vise. And then I'm not going to do this very much. Just going to get it in there and twist it like that. And then one more time, and it's not cutting, it's just compressing metal, squishing the metal. And then we're going to double check. Make sure this is not loose in that I didn't wallow out the bushing hole. And then double check the spin and the depthing as well. Make sure that the arbor's not bottoming out or wedged between the plates. Got to have some gap there so the wheel will bounce up and down, and it's got it. And you can see it's spinning pretty good, and there's no slop there. So on the other side of the arbor is another bad bushing, and I'll repeat the same process there and make sure I don't get it too wallowed out on the new bushing. And then I'll be done with that wheel for the bushings. Then I got to polish the pivots. But yeah, you can wiggle this still and see there's a lot of slop still in this bushing. So I got to fix this one as well on the back plate. So that's how you do a bushing. That's how I do a bushing anyway. Other people do it different ways. They use fancy $1,000 presses and cutters and all that, and I just use a hand cutter and a hammer and lightly tap, press it in, and it does just as well. So, and then there you can see, I don't know if we can see the new bushings right there. And I'll clean up all this marking, all these markings and things, and get this all shined up better once the machining's done. All right, so now we're on to the back plate. And that's a number 7 also. So, yeah, that's number 7 also. So put all this back. Put this over here out of the way. Probably gonna need this back. Hammer over here out of the way. And then we're gonna get another number 7 out. Okay, this one, I'm going to sit here. We're going to work on this one, which is right there. So put the bushing over here. And it's going to use the same big cutting reamer broach. It's got a 2.5 millimeter outside diameter, so we need the 2.47 cutter to cut out that hole bigger so we can press fit the new bushing in. I'll just double check that is S3, and it is. And S3 is number 7, which is 2.5 outside diameter, and this is a 2.47 outside diameter, so it's going to be an interference fit once I cut that hole. So I've got an electric drill press. I got a little clock drill press that I bought, and it works pretty good. It just takes a little bit longer, and doing the hand reaming gives my hands some exercise. Okay, and put this back and get the tool to get rid of the sharp edges. Put that in there and just gently scrape it. Do both sides. there. And then I still got the anvil in my other pin vise. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go from the face inward because these are a little thicker and I want the well to be up above the plate just a little bit and not have any extra sticking in towards the arbor. You got to get that. That's a pain in the butt too. It's so small. Okay, try one more time. And then I'll just gently tap there. Get a hammer. Try to be parallel with the plate with the anvil. All right, so the back side that's the arbor's gonna rub on is even with the plates. It's not gonna compress or bind the arbor end to end play. It just sticks up just a hair here. So put that back, this over here, put that there, and then we're going to check the other side of this wheel. So that side goes there. That fits fine. That's machined fine. So then this side's going to go like this. And it does not fit. The hole is too small, which is good. We'll machine it out with another type of cutting broach. Sure I get the cutting broach that'll go through there. That does. Doesn't go through all the way. Alrighty. Try to keep it parallel, 90 degrees straight. You do it this way. And then I do it from the other way. Get in here. Okay, and then test fit this end. See if it goes in the hole. It's almost there. It's wedged, so a little bit more reaming. A little bit more cutting. And switch. Get in there. Okay. Try this end. That's about right. But I want to adjust something a little bit so that there, that looks good to me. And then we'll put this on this one, that wheel. and then flip this over. There's a spring that's got to be put in there, and then get the pivot in the bushing hole. Just gonna put 2 nuts on. And then check end-to-end play. It's a little tight. So I need to take that off. It's just a hair in place, just a hair tight. So what I'm going to try to do is, just going to take this and my hammer and try to get a little extra. Get that right there. And then, okay. See if that got me a little extra wiggle room. Might have to do the other bushing too. Well, the wheel just came out. You know that one, I might as well do that one too. Back, put this back here. That goes there. So I think I'm going to put all the bolts on maybe. Hopefully I got the camera centered right. Otherwise I just wasted all that recording for nothing, being off screen, off center with the recording. Yeah, I'm just gonna hand tighten these just to make sure they're tight. Now, yep, there's play in it now. Spins really good, and I haven't even hardened this one yet. Smoothed it, not yet. So that's what it's supposed to look like, and minimal wiggle. Yeah, great. So, do the rest by hand. And then just have to smooth it out, harden the metal inside the new bushing. On this, take this cutting broach out, put that back up there. Get this back out. Hunt for the smoothing broach that'll go through the hole, which that one does. Okay. And we're gonna get it in there. Do both sides. Double check it again, a quick double check just to make sure I didn't wallow it out too much. I'm gonna hand hold it. And double check the wiggle. And we're done with that set of bushings for that wheel for S3, strike 3. So the first wheel, strike 1, 2, and then 3, and then strike 4 would be the fly, which regulates the speed of how it works. So got one more to do, one more arbor bushings to do here, and then got to do the crutch arbors, pivot or bushing holes up here. They're worn, which is going to be a little tricky because they're on a bridge. I need a bridge support to do this. So, and that's how you do bushings. It's how I do them, by hand.